Well, it's like translating a language almost, isn't it?
Mm,
It's like you become multilingual if you support multiple systems. You know how that category translates into the next system.
yep.
And that's really what you're doing is understanding, well, what is the best choice or what is the best interpretation of that word as it moves, that piece of data moves between different systems.
And to extend that, can you translate English to German to Chinese to German to English and come back the other way? What do you get when you do those translations, and what kind of wonderful weirdness comes back at you?
And then I think the other thing, and I'm sure you've come across this as well, is people often throw. I like to think of tags and custom fields as duct tape. Duct tape can be a great tool used in the right scenario and the right situation, but if it's used for everything, and it's a one size fits all, then often it's just a band-aid fix. So, I think you need to really be careful in terms of that, understanding your main category tree and your main sort of hierarchy of data that will be mapped across systems. Be really deliberate in terms of how you set that up. But then on the edge use cases, you can use things like tags and custom fields where maybe there are gaps in the software where you need some extra reporting capabilities.
Yeah, 100%. And a big part of that is defining what reports you need before you actually start. That comes back to that sort of data question.
Yeah, but sometimes businesses don't know that. I mean, and you can ask the question and maybe they will tell you what they currently have or what they'd like to have. But I usually find that that's a great question to ask actually once they've been using the system. And it's part of the advisory work that we do is like to revisit the business and to go, what reports can we now pull from that? But it all works on the basis that you get your data set up correctly first. If the data is set up correctly first, then whatever reports you want to build, you can build. If the integrity of the data is there, then it's just about how you organize it. But if you haven't done that pre-work of understanding how to pre-configure that data, then it really stifles that conversation later down the track.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. The pre-work is really important. You can go back and fix it once you're live, and like no one gets it perfect to start off with. But yeah, the pre-work's super important to make sure that you're starting on the right track. So lots of common reasons and symptoms of where you get things. What does that translate to in terms of the top, the common problems that you run across? So we've got, garbage data, we've got, Frankenapps, as you call them. You've got, data mismatch between how it's going to be used.